Hello everyone, it's Melinda here, and today we're going to be looking at my collection of citrine. I think this is going to be a fantastic one, especially if you're new to mineral collecting. This is a sore spot for a lot of people in the mineral loving community because the grand majority of citrine is actually faked. The rock itself isn't fake, but the citrineness of it is certainly fake. Yeah, natural citrine is extremely rare and a bit pricey. So typically what you're seeing and what you're possibly buying is faked. And you know, if you've ever excitedly showed off your new citrine specimen on, you know, a mineral forum, you've probably gotten an earful about this. But if not, you might find it very interesting. So I think I'm going to start off with the kind of typical citrine specimens that you'll see on the market, starting with the smaller one. There we go. Absolutely gorgeous. So let me start my little ramble and then we'll get into how to tell real from fake. So citrine is a variety of quartz. Again, quartz mineral, just like amethyst is also a quartz, whose color ranges from a pale yellow to brown due to ferric impurities. So like I said, natural citrines are very rare. Most commercial citrines are actually heat-treated amethyst, and this one is absolutely, without a doubt, heat-treated amethyst. There we go. And also sometimes smoky quartz. Sometimes they will also treat smoky quartz to get this yellowy, orangey kind of color out of it. However, a heat-treated amethyst will have small lines in the crystals, as opposed to natural citrine, which is more cloudy and smoky in appearance. So, you know, I've had this conversation with many new mineral collectors, and they, you know, sometimes find it disappointing or infuriating to find out that what they've purchased is actually amethyst. But you know what, guys? Now that you know that, you'll understand the price point, you'll understand why it is so plentiful, and you can still absolutely appreciate it. I mean, I still have you know, a whole jumble of heat-treated amethyst citrine specimens, and I absolutely love them. You know, I love the color. They're so pretty, and they're still worth collecting, even though they've been, you know, interfered with by man, you know, even though they're not 100% natural. And I'll repeat this again later, but I wanted to point out, because this specimen is a perfect example, how can I tell, you know, that this, I know without a doubt that this is amethyst and not actually true citrine? A couple of things. First, the color, definitely a telltale sign. It's like a yellowy orange, and a very vibrant yellowy orange at that. Not at all similar to real citrine, which is more of a, like a smoky grayish with a tint of yellow. Not at all like this. Not at all. And then also, natural citrine is just, you know, the same sort of look. There's certainly, you know, little fractures or inclusions or whatever, but it's typically the same looking material throughout the point. Whereas these heat-treated amethysts, you will often, very often see white quartz, and then a beautiful, you know, amber-looking tip. That is a telltale sign that this was originally amethyst. And some people will, blow their minds when I tell them, you can actually still see the purple in this specimen. And you're probably thinking I've showed it to you, you know, a whole bunch. I don't see any purple. Well, they're certainly there. You can see these little inclusions here. See? Little bits of purple in the stem, usually in the root of the crystal. See these? And it's the same in my other specimens. See here? So I'll show them, I'll point them out in my other specimens as well. See that? So very, very kind of easy to tell what you have once you know, right? Once you're educated about it. And again, you can still love them. I absolutely love mine. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about buying heat-treated amethyst. It's still gorgeous. It's still, you know, and technically it's absolutely quartz. It's still, and it was once amethyst. It's still a real rock. It's just been, you know, kind of fiddled with by man to get that beautiful color out of it. Here's my larger one. I see a little bug is enjoying my crystals here today. Absolutely gorgeous. Isn't this a nice big one? So as a little bit of like a comparison, this large point was roughly $30. And this natural, my only one that I'm certain is natural, was also slightly more than $30. So you can definitely tell by the price point. The heat-treated stuff is much more affordable, similar to that of amethyst. So that's another way to tell. If you're not paying very much for it, it's, you know, you can pretty much bet it's not natural. Especially if it looks like this, or the previous one I showed you. So gorgeous. But again, once you know what you're looking at, it's pretty obvious to tell that this was once amethyst. So let me do a little bit more of a ramble. So Brazil is the leading producer of citrine. The name is derived from the Latin word citrina, which means yellow, and is also the origin of the word citron, which for me as a person with a bit of a French background is the word for lemon. So it definitely makes sense. It's aptly named for sure. Sometimes citrine and amethyst can be found together in the same crystal, which is then referred to as ametrine. And I will be doing, I didn't put any here to show you today, but I will be doing a video on that as well. They can come natural, they can come faked, and they're a little bit harder to spot. I know a lot harder to spot than these, you know, faked or heat-treated amethyst citrines, but we'll get into that in another video. Yeah, and citrine has been referred to as the merchant stone or money stone. Definitely money stone. I hear that going around a lot lately. And that's due to superstition that it would bring someone prosperity or financial wealth. You will hear that a lot in the metaphysical world, in the witching world, which I know a lot of people scoff at. But as much as I, you know, super enjoy the science, I kind of love the whimsical side of things too. So if you're like me and you're thinking, that's, you know, interesting, I have some of this, how would I go about, you know, trying to bring some prosperity into my home? From what I've learned, you put it in the furthest left corner of your home, and that is supposed to, you know, help bring a bit of wealth into your life. Whether you believe in that or not, I still think it's fun. So again, when we're looking at this one, how can we tell for sure that it is a faked citrine? Again, let's go over it. We've got this white root, certainly white quartz leading up into that, again, orangey yellow color, very typical color of the heat-treated citrine. So if it has that kind of root ending in that color, you know, unfortunately, or, you know, whatever, however you feel about it, it is heat-treated citrine. And again, my little trick that is not often mentioned on the internet is the little specks of purple that remain. Pointing them out with my thumbnail. There's a lot on this big beauty. Even here, where the point was fractured off, you can see some of the purple remains. Little dots of purple everywhere. And they might be showing off, well, that line definitely looks purple. I was going to say they definitely may appear like blackish in this video, but when you look at it close up, you'll see that it is, even here, you see the purple. Yeah, when you have a nice good look, you'll see the little purple remnants in these guys. My gosh, though, they're still so beautiful. And I love the quartz kind of like striations in the structure. Beautiful. Oh, I froze there for a second. Isn't that stunning? Oh, absolutely love it. All right. So the very first citrine that I bought was this worry stone. It's a shaped stone that usually has a groove to kind of, rub your thumb in. And it's just like a stress ball, People scoff and like, oh, that's magic. But, it's just truly, it's just a stress technique and makes people feel better. So why not? I love mine. But again, you can see this one is not in its raw state, but you can still see that there's a lot of white quartz included in there, and it is very much that typical orangey yellow look. So again, I would definitely go with heat treated for this one, but still so beautiful. So citrine was first appreciated as a golden yellow gemstone in Greece between 300 and 150 BC, so before Christ, during the Hellenistic age. So yellow quartz was used prior to that to decorate jewelry and tools, but it was not highly sought after it. So it wasn't until that time in ancient Greece that it became a beloved gemstone. So pretty. Gorgeous. This one here is also typical of what you see in the market, but clearly it looks a little bit different than the others. It's got that darker color to it, and that's because it has been, baked a little too long. And typically when you see these, they'll be quite affordable because they have been, some people say, burnt. So if you're showing this to someone, they say, that's burnt amethyst. Well, I would just accept that because that is technically, why it is that darker color. So today, so I was going to say ametrine, no. Citrine is widely used as a gemstone, and after amethyst, it is the most popular of the quartz gems. Natural citrine, which is, like I said, extremely rare, is yellow to an orangey yellow, but occurs much lighter, not this bright type of orange like that at all. Much lighter hues than the heat-treated stuff. And it's more of like a dark orangey brown or yellowishy brown, sometimes even a redishy brown to like a grayish. We'll see a natural one soon. They definitely have a smoky hue that is so characteristic of the natural citrine. Certainly something to look for. This wouldn't, it's darker, it's browner, but it's not technically smoky, that's just that, it's just the color of it. Alright, so, and sometimes you can have borderline citrine and smoky quartz, just like you can have borderline, citrine amethyst. And, typically, when you see something like this, you could get away with calling it smoky quartz. But if it has that yellowish tinge, then it qualifies as a citrine. And again, they're not easy to find in nature, so I think people like to, look for that yellow and be like, yes, citrine, rather than just, calling it smoky quartz. If they can, they will, and they should. Why not? It's special. Yeah. Oh, it's still so beautiful. I love it. Gorgeous. And again, you can see the white quartz, white roots leading up into these more translucent tips that again have a very orangey vibe to them. These ones even brown. And again, that's very, very typical of the treated stuff. All right. There we go. So, some people will refer to the treated material as lab heated citrine, and many in the mineral world would consider that just like putting it really kindly. It's more common and more accurate to call it heat treated citrine or baked citrine, and when it's overbaked, sometimes even, you know, burnt citrine. Or heat treated amethyst, baked amethyst, you know, burnt amethyst. Those are more technical terms, I suppose, because the heating process is not done in a lab. It's not a technical process whatsoever. It's usually done in a warehouse by the miners themselves. So it's not a big, expensive process to turn this amethyst into citrine. And again, that's reflected in the cost. So here is, you know what, I think I'll start with the possible one. This one was sold as natural. It has phantoms in it, which, you know, they claimed gave it more, you know, credibility as natural, although I couldn't really find anything about natural citrines with phantoms in them. For a while I thought maybe it was fluorite, but I'm not sure. It has been cut and polished. It's not in its natural shape, so it's very hard, you know, to tell at this point. There are no air bubbles. It certainly feels like a natural crystal. I'm just not 100% convinced that it's natural citrine. That being said, it is the right color. So they're getting away with calling it natural, whether it is or not, because of that color. So it is smoky. It's only, you know, slightly yellow, and that is much more typical of the natural stuff. The fact that it has some phantoms inside is really, really interesting. I'm just not sure if it's, you know, adding to its credibility or not, but possibly. You let me know if you know. So here's my natural point. It's been broken off. It's raw. You can tell this is very much a natural point. And it comes from an area where, you know, natural citrine has been known to be found. And it's certainly on the smoky side. And in this video, it's hard to see the yellowish hues, but it certainly does have a yellowish hue. But like I said, technically for natural citrine, you could call it smoky quartz if you wanted to. That process has occurred, giving it the smoky look. But when it has that little bit of yellow, you can, you know, get away with it. It becomes a citrine. Another way to tell that this is a natural citrine is the hematite, a little bit of red hematite leaching on the bottom there. That's very, very typical of the natural citrine from this area, and definitely, you know, lends credibility to it. Again, the price was a little over $30, so certainly a price I would expect to pay for something natural. I think it's so gorgeous. Love it. I absolutely love it. There we go. You can see the warm hues for sure. It's not a typical gray smoky quartz. There we go. And this one here is from Ontario. I found it myself. As of now, I'm just calling it yellow smoky quartz because I'm not, you know, 100% sure what's causing the yellow color, although it's not like an iron oxide coating. It's certainly within the structure of the quartz, and throughout, evenly throughout, it looks so much like citrine to me. But I'm not qualified enough to, you know, make grand claims, but I thought I'd include it because I think that's really nice. It's really hard to find that type of yellow smoky quartz. Yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. Alrighty. So I'll show you this one next. It is labeled lemon quartz, and it is also heat treated. slightly differently, in a slightly different way. So there is such thing as natural light yellow citrine, and it is also labeled lemon quartz on the gemstone market. However, it is pretty rare to find natural lemon-colored quartz. You're far more likely to see heat-treated specimens. They are known as oro verde quartz. Lemon quartz is created by heating amethyst, yellow quartz, and iron together at extremely high temperatures. And it's this heating process that gives lemon quartz its like brilliant lemon color, this like very light, bright yellow. And the radiant beauty of lemon quartz is truly dazzling, particularly when the light catches the facets inside, and you can see these gorgeous little rainbows. I'm flashing a couple right now, but yeah, they're throughout and they're so beautiful. And again, that's really typical of this lemon quartz, this lighter colored heat-treated amethyst. Again, it goes through a heating process, but it's more costly, more intricate than your typical heated amethyst that turns into like the usual orangey colored citrine. Isn't that so pretty though? Oh, I love quartz points. And this one's probably not natural. It's been, if it was natural, then it's been certainly been polished, but I doubt it was even a natural point to begin with. It's possible. Who knows? Beautiful. And then lastly, my little shaped golden healer. It's been shaped in this cool formation. I'm not sure what it is called. I guess a wand, possibly, in the metaphysical world. I'm not sure. But so pretty. So golden healer quartz is obviously silicon dioxide, which is quartz. That has a golden or yellow iron mineral included on the surface, typically on the surface, sometimes included within as well, usually within fractures, possibly even fractures that we can't see, you know, with the naked eye. But this one, I know, it was labeled a golden healer, but it's, I don't know. The color is, as you can see, so much like the, you know, heat-treated amethyst. And it is so much throughout, and it's been, you know, cut and polished and shaped. Any iron oxide would have been rubbed off at this point, and it's not just in, you know, sorry, I keep saying you know. It's not in fractures. It looks like it's throughout the stone, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of leaning towards heat-treated amethyst, but who knows. It's a stone, and I love it. Oh, I can't believe I said stone. There are people who really hate when we call rocks and mineral stones, but you'll just have to excuse me. All right. Yeah, so let's just do a quick little recap how we tell the difference between real citrine and fake citrine. So if it is heat-seated citrine, the color will be most concentrated at the tips with white at the bottoms. Don't forget about that. That's really, really, really key. Heated citrine often has little purple or gray markings in the roots that, like I showed you. Sometimes even within the crystal you'll find little purple spots or really dark spots. So that's another way. Natural citrine, is generally a uniform color, like I said, throughout the entire stone or point. It does not start off white and then turn yellow at the end. And it has a uniform smoky or champagne or honey, dark honey kind of color to them. Natural citrine from the Congo, like I mentioned before, has hematite around its base, where it was attached to the matrix rock. And again, you can see that kind of iron oxide, hematite iron oxide on the bottom there. So that's a good way to tell. And baked citrine druzy in particular is a real telltale. That's this one over here, this cluster, this druzy. Because the darker, deep honey-colored iced tea hue Like I said, typically darker in color, like this one. And you can see a sharp border between white and the color. So again, it starts off with white quartz and turns into that citrine color. Yeah. So now that you know, you're going to be looking at all of your citrine specimens differently and looking at them differently in the stores, and I think that's fantastic, you know? It's just wonderful to be educated about something and have a clear understanding of it, and that in no way means that we can't still love it, because I absolutely do. I give you permission. You're certainly welcome to love any of your altered or man-made crystals. No problem with me whatsoever. Alright, so I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did, and yeah, I guess I'll see you again next time. Bye guys!